Well, good morning, and we'd like to thank everyone for being with us here this morning on Facebook. Now, this morning we'll have Dr. Bob Lutz. He will have his daily update from the Spokane Regional Health District, and today is also the final day of our financial well-being series. We'll be joined this morning by Greg Hansen, the Executive Vice President of Credit Administration at Numerica Credit Union. And unfortunately, Jack Heath with Washington Trust Bank was not able to be here, but we will, however, answer questions, and we'll be focusing on things like how the financial institutions are able to support small business through the CARES Act, and other ways banks are able to assist here in times of crisis just like this, and how small businesses can best prepare themselves for a healthy recovery. Now, of course, if you have any questions on any of the topics you're hearing this morning, including for Greg or Dr. Lutz, be sure to share them with us right here on Facebook. We'll try to answer as many as we can in the time we are allotted. But with that, we will start with Dr. Lutz.
I'm always practicing this, so good morning. So I'm still working on that, so bear with me. So anyway, April. So as we've started April, obviously weather has not been great, but it's definitely getting better. And with that comes lots of pent-up desires to get outside. And while we want to get outside, and I strongly encourage you to do so, all of the important stay home, stay healthy messages still remain in place. We also have Easter coming up this Sunday, and I know people are going to want to get together, as they always do, for Easter celebrations. And it doesn't mean that you can't celebrate, it just means that you need to maybe think of doing things a little bit differently. So again, commit to the holidays with your immediate family, but not your distant family, virtually extended to your family and friends. And when you're out, remember the importance of social distancing. And I would say almost it's kind of like somebody yesterday told me that we should maybe talk about physical distancing. Because again, it is about the space in between us, but not, again, the social space in between us, but truly the physical space in between us. And social distancing does not mean social isolation. I also encourage you that when you're out, check on neighbors. Check on neighbors who may be finding themselves having hunkered down to stay up more isolated. Check on them to see how they're doing. They need that social connection. But again, remember all the important things that we've talked about with respect to social distancing. I'd also encourage you to consider volunteering or making donations. This is a time of great concern for many, many people, and people would benefit from, again, either volunteering or from the resources that you as a volunteer could bring to the community. So check out covidresponse.org for volunteer opportunities, or unitedwayspokane.org for opportunities where you can provide needed information, needed materials for people. People come to me looking for numbers, and so today I can tell you that we have an additional 4 cases from yesterday, so that gives our total case number to 251. Fortunately, nobody else has died since yesterday, and that's very good to hear. So unfortunately, we still have 14 people who have succumbed to the virus since its onset. We have 47 people who have been hospitalized, and 20 remain hospitalized at this time. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Greg Hansen from Numerica. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lutz. So I want to tell you a little bit about Numerica and what we're trying to do and what really the banking community is trying to do to help small businesses in our community. Numerica is a credit union, and I know a lot of people, when they think about a credit union, I'm getting my car loan there, I'm getting my house loan, I'm getting my boat loan there. But we actually have a pretty robust commercial lending operation. We currently have about 770 million loans outstanding, and we do have an SBA operation, which today is a big deal for us. So we look at some of the issues that and concerns that small businesses are having, and businesses were going from selling goods, products, and services, from generating revenue, from paying employees to paying their lease payments, paying their loan payments, and in a week they're basically shut down or partially shut down, and revenues go to zero or non-zero. And so for a lot of business owners, there's this feeling of almost helplessness, like things are out of their control. And how do I operate in that environment? And then there's just the uncertainty of not knowing when things will get back to a new normal even. And so trying to work through that is very difficult for business owners. The other thing is the government has provided a huge stimulus package, but there's just details and delays in getting that money out to those businesses. And business owners are frustrated that they can't access money that they think should be in the pipeline for them. And not having that as soon as they need it is a frustration for them. The other thing that business owners have to do is they've got to come up with new plans and find ways to operate through this and make decisions that they have not ever had to make. What do I do about my employees? Do I lay them off? Do I reduce compensation? Do I give full compensation to try to work through this? How am I going to pay bills? What do I do with on my lease payment, my loan payment? And then it's just not knowing what this comes out to look like, the uncertainty of what a recovery looks like. And so those are all issues that business owners of all sizes are going through, and it's a very, very tough time for them. So Numerica is participating in trying to help these business owners succeed and survive through this. And as I mentioned, we have an SBA program, and SBA is a huge part of this recovery that the federal government stimulus is providing. And what we've learned through this is dealing with the government is tough. It is a lot of agenda items and operations and initiatives that are pushed out and trying to get money to the public, both commercial businesses and consumers, and not having a good plan on how to do that. And it's almost like, putting the cart before the horse. And for the SBA program, the PPP program, up until a few days ago, you couldn't even see the horse, it was so far back. But we've made progress, and we are working to get those loans funded for the PPP program. The other thing is that we recognize that there are a lot of stakeholders who care about small businesses throughout the country. Clearly the government through the stimulus program, the Congress, local government, congressmen, all the municipalities trying to help these businesses. Financial institutions are really trying to come up with solutions to help these businesses survive. And my understanding is even regulators, bank and credit union regulators, are trying to give us the flexibility that allows us to kind of go out on a limb with some of these borrowers and accept more risk in the spirit of helping these businesses survive. The tools that Numerica has put together, and I'm guessing a lot of other financial institutions have done the same thing, it's funny. On March 16th, for me, is when it really hit home. And what we did is we immediately started an outreach program to our commercial borrowers. And we asked them, okay, 3 questions really. How is COVID impacting you? How do you think it's going to impact you? What are your plans to mitigate that, and what can we do to help? And from that, what we did is we put together a pretty streamlined process that we're offering either payment relief to commercial borrowers, and on the consumer side, the same deal where we're offering payment relief. We're offering a way to get a streamlined process to get conventional loans. The government initiatives also are providing some loan programs. And if we need to, a total debt restructure just to help these businesses survive. And so in the process of this 3-week period, we've recognized that the focus isn't on, growing loans and that. It's to help our members survive through this difficult time. So my thoughts on some of the resources and other things that business owners can do is, reach out to your financial institution. We know what's going on. We know businesses are struggling, and ask for payment relief of some sort. We know that your cash inflows are reducing, and we're trying to help reduce your cash outflows. So go to your bank, go to your credit union, talk to them about a payment relief program. Take advantage of the government programs. The PPP program has gotten off to a rocky start, but it's going to be there. Right now, there's the initial contribution or fund was $350 billion. I think the federal government realized they did not fund that large enough, and there's discussion about another $250 billion going into that, which takes some of the time pressure off financial institutions trying to rush to get their borrower member into those funds. So take advantage of the government programs. There's the economic disaster loan and the SBA Express loans that financial institutions can provide. If you're leasing space from a landlord, talk to them about some sort of lease relief. They understand what's going on, and it's just another way that helps that business extend the how long they can operate in a difficult cash flow situation. And so it's really, and the last thing I would say is there's a new normal, and business owners are going to be creative and thoughtful and come up with new ways to operate. I don't know what that new normal looks like, but you look at what's happened in the restaurant industry, where a lot of restaurants had to be shut down. They found new ways to make money and come up with just ways to generate revenue and employ people. Some stats of what Numerica has done in this is as of this morning, we've actually provided 85 payment relief loans that total about $110 million. We've also have authorizations totaling 340, and that totals about $61 million, about an average of $175,000 per PPP loan. And so we've tried to help these businesses succeed. We know it's a tough time, and really, I think there's a lot of stakeholders that are trying to make sure that small businesses survive and can make it to the recovery down the road. And with that, I'm turning it back over to.
Well, we have a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Before you leave, we have some viewers that have a couple of questions they'd like to ask you. We have one specifically from a viewer. Why businesses that don't bank with certain banks, why can't they get the help they need?
Right. So the process for getting a commercial loan is different than getting a consumer loan. And to get a commercial loan, there's some due diligence that financial institution has to do, including meeting the Bank Secrecy Act requirements. And so that takes some time. There's that requirement and the know your borrower requirement. And so the process for getting a commercial loan is a little bit more extended. At Numeric, what we've done, our focus right now is helping the roughly 800 to 1,000 applications for PP loans that we've received and get them in the queue. Once those are done, though, we are going to open it up to non-members and try to help them.
Greg, so for a lot of the individuals who are looking for small business assistance, they are saying that they're hearing that the funds are already tapped. And you touched upon this a little bit, but could you go into what your advice would be for a small business who hasn't started the process yet?
Right.
Should they continue?
Absolutely, I would continue. The $350 billion has not been exhausted yet. We've heard varied estimates. Jack Heath actually thought it would run out today. I've heard from people that they think it might run out next week. But there is discussion about the government providing another $250 billion in relief funds. So absolutely, I would continue the application process with your financial institution.
And then our final question here this morning for you. Independent contractors and sole proprietors can now apply for federal assistance. What advice would you give them for seeking additional funding right now?
So they can apply to the PP program. They were delayed a week from other businesses. I would go through with that. Being that they're smaller businesses, their capital needs probably aren't as large, and there are other SBA programs that you can apply for. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL loan, you apply directly to the SBA website. They can provide loans, and your financial institution can provide SBA Express loans as well. And for Numerica, we're actually, we understand the risk, but we are doing conventional loans to these businesses as well. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate everyone being with us here this morning. Have a safe weekend. We will see you back here on Monday.